So here's a story I have to sit down for.
Oh, shit. A sit-down story, Dan? Oh, shit. And a hard sit-down. Okay, get your mic.
Okay.
Get it to the mouth. All right.
Okay. All right. Papa Bear's going to tell you a story. Okay. Here we go. Where is the... Okay. So the story starts on Thursday when I get a text message from Dad on my phone. And it's very nice. Thursday, 12:28 p.m. As your father, I wanted to text you to tell you how proud of you I am for your Emmy nomination for that pickle show you worked so hard on. And as a good son, 6 hours later, I text, Dad, thanks. But here's something of even higher value. I got a Tesla. Because my dad, I'm like, I want to bond with my dad about...
He's a car guy.
Because stuff that, it's oh my God, I'm bonding with my dad. I'm texting you right now while it drives itself. It was true, don't judge me.
Also the last thing that we ever read.
And then, so this is where my dad starts to really blow my mind. Already, I was like, that was nice. Congratulations for me.
Yeah.
And he says, but what about the smudges on the touchscreen? Couldn't you afford the Edison? And I went, holy shit, my dad is making references to my television show, Great Minds with Dan Harmon, which is a really deep cut.
Yeah. On top of an Edison joke, which you never hear.
And then my dad goes, nothing like self-congratulatory callbacks. I'm like, what? My dad is like so hip. So at this point, it's important. The story happens in layers, and it gets a little thick. And there's shit to unpack, but the first thing I need to do now is bring up the director of Great Minds with Dan Harmon, Heath Cullins. So before we start to unpack this, Heath, I guess the first question is, do you remember when and why I put your number in my phone as Dad?
He asks everybody.
I forgot, for sure.
No.
Don't feel bad, because he asks everybody this question.
How many people? I do, in fact, remember. I wish it were more tawdry than it actually is. So we, as Dan mentioned, worked on Great Minds together, and it was not the highest of budgeted shows, so we didn't have VFX for things necessarily, other than the really awesome stuff in the lab that I'm sure you all saw. But we couldn't burn in the image of Dad calling on his cell phone, so we had to shoot it, we had to have an actual phone. Probably not this one, because you have a Tesla now, so you've got a newer phone probably as well.
The Ron Funches episode, he plays Idi Amin.
And his dad had to call.
And the resolution to the conflict with Idi Amin, who, it turns into a hostage situation, but then, my dad calls on the phone, and Idi Amin enjoys talking to him about politics. And they kind of they calm each other down until Edie turns to dust. But so we had to put your phone number in my phone as Dad, so that when you called me, it would say Dad, and then I forgot. But it's notable, the important thing about the story, the absolute tragedy of this story, is that it's not just me thinking that I have a new wonderful relationship with my dad.
Nope. No, it's not.
And Heath is not trying to deceive me.
No, I'm not.
If you scroll back through this window, there are a half a dozen times over the years where the following conversations happen. It's he'll go, it'll say let's see. Thursday, May 10th, 12:42 p.m. He texts, congrats on that ginormous renewal. As recently as the 70 episode thing, I remembered, and I say, thanks, Dad. You're still in my phone as Dad. So I remember and I know. So he thinks I remember and I know. So the really sad part of this, the whole thing that happens that starts on Thursday, is that I'm thinking I have a new, like, late life friendship with my dad, and Heath thinks that Dan Harmon's being really nice to him. So now knowing that it's Heath, and that Heath doesn't know I don't know it's my dad, and that I don't know it's not my dad. Let's start just over again, and you can read your part, and I'll read my part.
Perfect.
So, and then because then it continues until last night, at which point I realized when I think Cody pointed out, or no, you did. Oh God, and then at a certain point, I was like, you have to come on the show, and we have to share this. This is the worst thing that's ever happened to two people.
Yeah.
Like, okay. So, you want to just start with As Your Father?
As Your Father?
Yeah.
Thursday, 12:28 p.m. As your father, I wanted to text you to tell you how proud of you I am for your Emmy, spelled E-M-M-I-E, because I thought that would be more dad-like, for your Emmy nomination for that pickle show you worked so hard on.
See, now I get it. You're talking like a dad. But you weren't trying to fool me.
No,
you were doing the same bit that we kept doing.
Verisimilitude.
I just forgot. I just drank that part of the Rolodex away. And so I go, Dad, thanks, but here's something of even higher value. I got a Tesla. I'm texting you right now while it drives itself.
But what about the smudges on the touch screen? Couldn't you afford the Edison? Nothing like congratulatory callbacks.
Self-congratulatory because he knows that it's the director of the show that he's referencing, so he's not trying to fool me. But I'm like, oh my God. I'm texting Cody in the meantime. I'm like, my dad, look what I'm sending her screen grabs. I'm looking, he's making Great Minds references.
Oh, this is on some Make-A-Wish shit.
So I sent a video of the inside of my Tesla. It was a video of just going from the dashboard to the steering wheel because I wanted to show that it was driving itself, but it doesn't look like any. It looks the same as a normal car because you're just shooting from here. You can't tell that it's driving itself. And so I just sent an unremarkable video showing that, and I said I always want to show people a video of me not driving, but the LA cops are too aggressive about pulling over for texting and driving. They're not too aggressive. I support the law about distracted driving. I was, but I just meant they're too aggressive for me to get that video in full, like I'd have to do so much that I would be distracted driving. So then my dad says,
I send a video of me fakely self-driving my Hyundai Elantra on the highway, and it says NBD.
I'm like, oh my God, my dad says NBD.
My Hyundai can do that too, with the video.
And then he shows a video, and it's like the Hyundai dashboard, but then like a crazy camera shake, and the sound of what I thought was my dad doing a crazy character going, oh, God damn it! And he was like affecting this fun voice and doing this comedy bit, and Heath just pointed out backstage that had I watched the entire video, which I always stopped, even though I kept showing it to Cody and going, my dad's doing bits. It cuts to black because the phone falls down. After 6 seconds of which Heath picks up the phone, looks into the lens, and goes, whatever, like does some self-effacing bit, which I've never seen.
No.
And so I could if only I had watched the video all the way. Instead, I just text absolutely sincerely, ha ha. So then days go by. So I walk into Little Dom's the other day, last night, Saturday night. No, Saturday? Yeah, it says Saturday. Okay, yes, Saturday night.
2 days later.
I walk into Little Dom's with Cody. John Hamm is sitting there. I'm just gonna go ahead. I mean, who cares? Like, whatever. He's sitting there with Edgar Wright and
Paint the picture. All of them.
I'm not gonna name everybody.
Was it? But like Joaquin Phoenix, and like Cicely Tyson.
It was a table of stars.
A Batman. A table of stars.
Perched in the booth there at the not the head. It was just it's a little booth, and it's very clearly Warren Beatty, and it's like that's famous even for L.A. Like crazy famous, like legendary icon. Like you don't expect to see Warren. You expect to see Quentin Tarantino like at a drive-through or something, like the back of his head. Oh, that's Quentin Tarantino, or maybe even Harrison Ford. Like oh look, he's jogging. You just never expect to see Warren Beatty.
No.
And I saw him, and then I did what you're supposed to do. I ignored him and pretended he was a ghost, and like talked to John Hamm about how's business. Where do you live now? Oh, that's a good neighborhood. And then we go over to the booth, and we're like Cody and I are like wow, that's pretty neat. Like Warren
that's the real
Beatty,
deal.
that's a big deal. Like seeing Warren Beatty. Didn't really meet him as such. Just was introduced to him, but. This is Warren, so I met Warren Beatty.
Okay.
Technically, and also like I don't know what else. What more do you need? From that exchange, I met Warren Beatty. That's as good. That's peak Warren Beatty relationship, right? I met him. I mean, I'm not saying there's not more fulfilling things in store for you if you are his neighbor. I'm just me. Like, what am I going to do with a Warren Beatty friendship? I'm like, this is it. I got to share it with somebody.
Right.
But who do you share it with? Like, I don't want to come off like a star fucker to my LA friends. And the truth is, even Cody's a little young to understand what a big deal it is to see Warren Beatty in person. Do I have an older friend who's from out of town?
Nope.
Wait a minute. I think I said it out loud, and Cody was like, well, your dad's been pretty cool lately. So now I text my dad. But it's not my dad. I'm texting Heath Cullins, the director of Great Minds, who thinks he's my friend. He has good reason to think that I would just text him the following, I just met Warren Beatty at a restaurant! Exclamation point.
What? Who are you? 1930s Hollywood royalty? If I wasn't playing a dad, I promise I would have come up with something better than that, but I was trying to stay in the voice. Parentheses, in my mind, he's 120 years old. Then I said, was it at Chick-fil-A? I heard he loves waffle fries.
And then meanwhile, I'm trying to take a picture, like I'm trying to do a selfie thing because he's in a booth behind us. I didn't want to be like I just thought maybe, you never know, if the camera's on top, maybe if I do one of these, maybe you'll see like the top of Warren Beatty's head like over me and Cody. But it ends up just being a nice selfie of me and Cody. And that's fine too. And I send it to my dad and I say, this would have been my attempt at a Periscope shot at him, but there's no way, so it's just us having met Warren Beatty. I'll tell you what, man, he looks way older than you.
Because it's important
Clearly
to
he's
compliment your
playing
dad.
along.
And this is where I feel bad, but I'm trying to flatter my dad. I'm like, he looks like a mummy that went to a barber and said, make my hair look like Warren Beatty.
Maybe that's why you don't get to meet people.
I'm really excited that Dan is texting me these on Saturday night, like unsolicited, unannounced. So I keep playing along. So he looks better than I expected.
But you see, you're not playing my dad at this point, right? You're just being Heath.
Yeah.
You think I know you're Heath.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, all right.
But I didn't want to like fuck up I didn't want to fuck up the bit. I thought you were still enjoying that.
Okay, so you...
But that you knew it was me.
Okay, yeah, okay.
I'm not going to not yes
So you
and
think I know that it's you, and
yes.
and you think that even though I know it's you, I'm like I'm still treating you like my dad.
I thought you, yeah.
Okay.
We're entertained by it in some
And so
way.
you say...
And Cody being there also made me feel that way.
Right.
Please don't fight, guys.
So then you say, no, it's your, so I say, so he looks better than I expected, is what I ask.
And I say, here's the important takeaway. You are like 3 times sexier than Warren Beatty. This is
Don't look at me.
This is how cool a son I would be. By the way, if look how low my bar is for a dad. Before I open the fucking floodgates. And I'm like your pal. Like, I'm giving you, like, inside Hollywood shit. I'm calling you sexier than Warren Beatty. Like, all you gotta do is, like, congratulate me on an Emmy nomination. And I will be your son every 8 hours via text message. So I say, you're 3 times sexier than Warren Beatty.
I say, boy, you two look like you have that post-Beatty glow, though. Are you both pregnant now? He's old but virile.
This is where it gets really sad to me.
It takes a turn.
Oh,
Because meanwhile,
this
Cody
is
and I
where
are
it gets
talking, because Cody and I are talking the whole time, and the conversation isn't about Warren Beatty. It's about my dad. I'm like, how come? So then I text, Cody says you and Mom should come out to California, and we could go to Death Valley with Cody's dad. You'd probably like it in the desert.
I want to let you all know that you are falling for the same shit.
What do you mean? What are they falling for? They're going like, ugh, this hurts.
There was a like, oh, daddy, oh. we all got wrapped up in this shit. It's beautiful, but it's sad. But it is beautiful.
It's sad.
And it's sad.
I mean, the beauty is only just it's a sad balloon. Maybe it's inflated by beauty. Like you blow it up with beauty, but it's a balloon made of sadness.
Yeah. We like to call it the old piss-stained clown.
All right, so I invite you and Mom out to California, and you say,
I'm not sure we can handle the heat. It is a dry heat, though.
So now at this point, I'm thinking, am I correct in assuming that maybe you're starting to go, oh shit, does he think?
I'm like, I want to put on it the faux dadness of it enough that you're like,
right.
Haha, fuck you,
right.
Whatever.
Dry heat, oh, he's really going over the top with this dad character.
But also, at this point, and Emma, my wife, can attest to this, I'm like, oh, he's really like playing, we're like riffing, and I didn't want to ruin it, but I was also just like, what do I say now? And here's the sad part this is much sadder, but the sad part from my side is like, I don't want Dan to think now I'm not funny, like that I can't keep it going.
Like a dad would think.
Yeah.
You would want to be cool to your kid.
Or also like a son would think for his, it was.
That's right.
There's the whole.
I'm telling you, it was dynamic. It's dynamic.
There's a lot of emptiness here.
I'm just swooning. I go, it's so dry. I'm a bigger pussy about heat than you, and I was fine. It's incredibly quiet and free, and you can do whatever you want. Just a thought. Cody's dad loves the desert, and so Cody kind of grew up going out there with him. It was like her Dells. That's a reference to the Wisconsin Dells, where my family would go when I was a kid.
Does the next bit require a little context with the brothel thing because of my knowledge?
Yeah, I mean it does because like Cody's dad.
Yeah. So I know Cody, who you all, I'm assuming, know since you watch the show and know who she is. She's a great writer, wrote a show that I worked on as well. That's how I met Dan, through directing the show that she wrote. One of the things she told me, her dad is very cool, artistic, and when she was a youth, they would go to the desert. You've heard about that so far. But there was a brothel that he went to with her, and he was like friends with I don't know what happened there, but they were friends, and it seemed sweet. And I was like, that's crazy, Cody. And then we would always joke about it, and then Cody and her father recently went on a trip out there, and the brothel has since closed, and he like collected a sign from the exterior of it. And it was like sweet but funny and just a cool little side story. So I text after he suggests we go out there. It's tempting. And you know how I feel about brothels. Does Cody's dad still know a good spot? I know his favorite spot is closed, but maybe you, he, and I could find a new one together.
So then I turn to Cody and go, did you tell my dad about the brothels? And Cody goes, I don't know, I tell everybody. So on we go. And so I go, we could start one. I'm going to pitch it to Warren.
Oh, I bet he has some great thoughts on that. He'll class up the joint for sure. And then, hey, Dan, I'm really enjoying our father-son repartee. I just want to make sure you remember this is actually Heath. The timestamp on this was 10:52 p.m. on Saturday night. This started at like 8:30 p.m. that night.
And my next text is at 11:10, so that's 18 minutes later, and I didn't get anything else done. Like, I just read that and took 18 minutes to respond. Oh my God.
Somebody just got dadfished.
I wish there was a way to cheer with a rotten tomato. Like,
You don't like my Steve Harvey line of jokes? They come with a briefcase and a peacock.
you deserve cheer boos for that. Anyways, oh my God, and then. Oh my God. And then I just finished explaining this to Cody. So that's what the 18 minutes is. This is, wow. This is really so sad. I kept showing messages to Cody and being like, this is so cool. I don't know when my dad got so cool. And Cody was like, I love your dad. I told you he was cool. And I was like, yeah, but he just seems different. Like, he's funnier now. Oh my God. The darkness of this makes it worth it. I had 12 hours of the nicest, closest, most human relationship I've ever had with my dad. So Cody says you have to come on Harmontown so we can explain this whole story and read these texts and walk through it. You do understand that I really thought you were my dad the entire time, from all the way back to you congratulating me on the Emmy nom. I thought my dad was revealing he watched Great Minds. That's about it.